The NASCAR playoffs are here. Who makes it to Phoenix and who gets eliminated and when? How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Sunday night, Southern 500, Darlington Raceway will kick off the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. A format that continues to face scrutiny that could be overhauled in the offseason. It's a format designed to prevent domination. The thing is, nobody has dominated this year. A lot of drivers have gone on runs at some point or another, like Christopher Bell's 3 wins in a row, Shane Van Gisbergen dominating the road courses specifically. Ryan Blaney's last 6 weeks have been superb. But as you can see, nobody has separated themselves from the pack. Last year, Kyle Larson had a 35-point cushion going in. This year, it's only 26. He's tied with William Byron. So many interesting storylines, so many Championship 4 hopefuls. Remember, last year's Championship 4 was Tyler Reddick, William Byron, Ryan Blaney, and Joey Logano. They were the number 3, 4, 5, and 9 seeds going in. So just because you may be at the tippy top for now, nothing is guaranteed. Last season, I correctly picked the final 8. I was 8 for 8. That's right. I even got Joey Logano in there. The problem is that I only picked 2 of the final 4 correctly, and my championship pick didn't even make the championship 4. So I've got some room to improve this year. Real quick, let's look at the playoff schedule because there are a few different tracks in different places. Also, I noticed that in the first 3 rounds, there's an intermediate oval, a short flat oval, and a wild card track. Darlington, intermediate, Gateway, shorter, flat, and then I'd consider Bristol kind of wild. Then there's Kansas and intermediate, New Hampshire short flat, and the Roval, which tends to be crazy, even if Shane Van Gisbergen's the heavy favorite this time. Round of 8, there's Las Vegas, Martinsville, and Talladega. The wild card track looms. An interesting, fairly balanced mix of racetracks this year. Let's take a look at our round of 16 field. Darlington, Gateway, Bristol, 3 very different ovals. Starting at the top, I feel good about Kyle Larson advancing. We know he's really good at Darlington, Bristol. He did crash out in the opening laps of Spring Darlington, but history tells us he bounces back in the fall. Only a 26-point cushion, though. Larson can't afford many slip-ups even in that first round. William Byron, the regular season points title winner, dominated Darlington in the spring. There's a reason he earned more points than anyone this year. He's just solid all around. Denny Hamlin pounced late, thanks in part to his pit crew, to win Darlington in the spring. Also great at Bristol. Gateway could be a wild card. I mentioned Ryan Blaney has been red hot recently. I expect that streak to continue. Almost won Darlington in the spring. We know how fast Team Penske has been at Gateway. I'm a little nervous about Christopher Bell. We've seen him make some mistakes recently. Dover stands out. They still have good speed, but they haven't shown winning speed since March. If we look at how many stage points everyone has earned this year, Christopher Bell ranks 10th, which isn't bad, but he's behind guys like Austin Cindric, Bubba Wallace, Alex Bowman, who's the 16 seed. This first round, when you're above the cut line, is about survival, and sometimes this year Christopher Bell has stepped on rakes along the way. Shane Van Gisbergen has my attention. Obviously 4 wins this year, tied for the most in Cup, but they've all come at road courses. There are no road courses in this round. 3 very different, very challenging ovals. Shane Van Gisbergen has 0 top 10 finishes on ovals this year. He's gotten a little bit better for sure, but if I look at his last 7 oval finishes coming into the playoffs, his average finish is still 23.5, which even with a 16-point cushion, I don't know is good enough. The only hope for SVG is that he's going back to some of these places for the second time. He was 20th at Darlington in the spring, says he loves that place. If he can run top 15 at Darlington, top 20 at Bristol, survive Gateway, which I'm not sure he's ever seen in his life, maybe SVG has enough of a cushion to go on, but it's going to be tight. Chase Elliott has been very consistent all year, but he's had some rocky finishes in recent weeks. I'm keeping one eye on Chase. Chase Briscoe is the defending Southern 500 winner, and I think we all agree he's in a better car now than he was 1 year ago. Watch out. Bubba Wallace is an interesting one. He's had some really good runs at Darlington in recent years, a few flashy moments at Bristol, recently had 4 straight top 10s, won Indianapolis, dominated Richmond before an issue on pit road. I think this team is heading the right direction. I think they're peaking here at the start of the playoffs, which hopefully will get them through this first round at the very least. Austin Cindric has not taken a noticeable jump here in year 4, but before Daytona, his last 5 races, his average finish was 12.8. So Cindric has run better lately. And remember Gateway 1 year ago, it wasn't a playoff race, but Austin Cindric got the victory. I like Ross Chastain a lot. He ran top 10 at Darlington in the spring. But if we look at laps led among playoff drivers this year, the very bottom of the graphic is Ross Chastain. They just don't have speed. They don't qualify well. Ross Chastain and Phil Surgeon have to get creative to get track position. I like Darlington, and I think I like Bristol for Ross in this round, but I don't love that team's speed. I did see a report that Trackhouse is swapping out the Jackman on Suarez's team with Chastain, so Suarez's pit crew has been better than Chastain's most this year. Swapping that Jackman should give Chastain a slight edge on pit road. We'll see. Going down the list, Joey Logano looms. The defending series champion, was the 9 seed last year. He's the 12 seed this time around. He's run good the last few weeks. Top 10 at Iowa, top 5 at Richmond, led laps at Daytona. He's the defending champion. I gotta respect Logano, Paul Wolfe, their pedigree, their history. I think Logano probably gets through this first round, but how much further from there will he go? We'll talk about that later. I have a hard time believing in Josh Berry. Gateway, again, great for Penske last year. Bristol, Berry's a great short track racer, but if you look at average finish this year across the first 26 races, Josh Berry's down there near the very bottom. That team has just not looked very competitive since their win at Las Vegas very early in the year, so I'm not sure what to make of Berry. Couple more drivers here. Tyler Reddick was the regular season champion. Like I said, the 3 seed last year. He's the 14 seed this time around. They've had speed, just not getting finishes. I do think he'll be really good at Darlington at least. Austin Dillon's best track in this round is probably Darlington. I don't know. He only has 1 top 5 this year, and it was that win at Richmond. If Richmond was a playoff race, I'd give Dillon a shot, but I don't love AD's chances of advancing out of this first round. And then there's Alex Bowman, the 16 seed. I think that could be a frisky 16 seed. Remember, the 16 seed has never made it out of the round of 12 since stage points and playoff points were introduced. Alex Bowman has run top 10 almost every week for the past 2 months. I think consistency alone will be enough to get him through the round of 16. We'll see if that's his ceiling, however. My first 4 eliminations. Austin Dillon, I'm sorry, he has a 20th place average finish this year. He starts below the cut line. It's not happening. Josh Berry, I'm sorry, I think there's a lot riding on Gateway, relying on that Penske performance. Josh Berry has not led a single lap in 15 straight races. Like, this doesn't look like a playoff team right now. Josh Berry's out. And then the last 2 spots are tough. If Shane Van Gisbergen had a 36 or even a 26 point lead, I may pick him to advance, but 16 points, that could evaporate quickly. And yes, Van Gisbergen's gotten better at the ovals. Like I said, though, his average finish the last 7 ovals is still 23rd, which would be bottom of the barrel of the playoff, guys. I just don't think a 16-point cushion is enough. Bristol, difficult racetrack. I don't have SVG making it, and it pains me to say this, I don't have his teammate Ross Chastain getting out of this round either. If you watched my show Wednesday with Ryan Stevens Win the Race, he started to sway me. He gave us Trackhouse fans a reason or two to believe in their guys, but I'm not sold. Like I said, the number 1 car does not qualify well, and Ross Chastain, over the last 7 races coming into these playoffs, he has 1 top 10. It was 10th. That's it. No momentum, no consistent speed this year. I'm sorry, I think it's an early exit for the Melon Man. So those are my first 4 eliminations. Austin Dillon, Josh Berry, and then the Trackhouse duo of SVG and Ross Chastain. Round of 12, Kansas, New Hampshire, and the Charlotte Roval, the lone road course race. I'll say this about Shane Van Gisbergen. If he does hang on to get through that first round, I'd pick him to win the Roval, which means he could make the round of 8. It's not unrealistic, but I have SVG out. Let's talk about the 12 drivers I've got remaining. I really like how this round shapes up for Larson. Again, he's accident prone, known to overstep, make some mistakes, but he's so damn good at Kansas, swept the stages, won there in the spring. He's also the defending Charlotte Roval winner, so we can expect him to run top 5 there. Again, he'll have a cushion. I like Larson getting through this round. Same with William Byron, not much more to be said. Intermediate tracks like Kansas, his underlying speed data and metrics are top of the board. Byron has been very consistent this year. I think Kansas will be very important for Denny Hamlin. Of the front runners here, this is my upset alert guy in this round. And the reason I say Kansas will be important is because obviously he's been really, really good there. He's won there a couple of times in recent years. New Hampshire as well has been a good track for Joe Gibbs Racing over the past few seasons. But the Charlotte Roval, Hamlin has one top 10 finish on a road course his past 10 starts. So he needs to win one of these first 2 races, or at least needs to run top 5 so that when he's 17th at Charlotte, it doesn't come back to bite him. Ryan Blaney, again, he's on a roll right now. Penske should be good at New Hampshire. Blaney was 3rd at Kansas in the spring. He's won the Roval before. I said earlier I'm a little worried about Christopher Bell in that first round. I really like these tracks for Bell in the second. Kansas, I mean, he won like 3 straight poles there not that long ago. We know he's a great road racer. He won COTA in the spring, has won at the Roval before, and New Hampshire is basically his second home. He's won 2 of the last 3 races there. Yeah, I think Christopher Bell gets through this round easily. I like this round for Elliott. Remember, there should be a softer tire compound at New Hampshire. I think that plays to Chase Elliott's strengths. He's won the Roval before. He's a tremendous road racer. We know was top 5 there a year ago, should gain points there. I'm only worried about Kansas with Elliott. His intermediate numbers this year are iffy. I feel a little more comfortable about Chase Briscoe, the 19 that he's driving. Joe Gibbs Racing, usually strong at New Hampshire. Chase Briscoe enters these playoffs with a ton of momentum. He's led multiple laps in 7 of the last 8 races. Good road course racer, we know, recently finished 5th at Watkins Glen. He has a 2nd at Sonoma, should be solid at the Roval. My only fear with Briscoe is that this team needs to earn more stage points. Let's throw up that stage points graphic again. Briscoe ranks 12th in stage points, which is shockingly low considering how good they usually qualify. That usually guarantees you some stage points in the opening stint. I also just noticed the 4 guys I eliminated in the first round happened to be the bottom 4 in stage points earned. I guess I just love stage points. They matter. When we condense the season into like 3 race mini seasons, every point, every position matters. Stage points will play a role. I like guys who earn stage points. That makes me a little nervous about Chase Briscoe. I think Briscoe is going to advance. My 4 eliminations are going to come from these final 5 here at the bottom. Austin Cindric is tied for the fewest top 10s of anyone in the playoff field this year, but he is a good road course racer. Bubba Wallace, 2311, used to own Kansas Speedway, but the recent numbers, the recent performance has been bad. I looked this up. Since Bubba's Kansas win in 2022, his average finish there is outside the top 20. Alex Bowman, man, I love the consistency, but again, no 16 seed has ever made it through this round. I looked this up. My friends at wintherace.info have calculated the true average running position for every driver at every track type this year, and Alex Bowman ranks outside the top 10 in intermediate tracks, short tracks, and road course true average running position. But Bowman has had some great runs at intermediates this year. Remember, 2nd at Homestead, so maybe Kansas, circle Kansas. I would love to see Bowman get through this round. Redemption, revenge for last year's DQ. But he's going to have a steep hill to climb. Tyler Reddick, there are a lot of distractions pulling at 2311 Racing, but Reddick, I've loved the speed this year. All of the speed metrics I look at, he ranks in the top 5, top 6 in most of them. And he does earn stage points, but the stage points graphic, he earns stage points. He does. And he's a great road racer, could probably finish top 5 at the Roval with his eyes closed. Oh, and then there's Joey Logano. Joey. I picked him to make the round of 8 last year. Did not have him winning the title. He blew my expectations out of the water. I just don't feel great about Penske drivers not named Ryan Blaney this year. Blaney has been superb everywhere, start to finish, fast. Joey Logano has been streaky as usual. And then Cindric, Barry, I don't know that I buy them right now as real contenders. Remember, Joey Logano was eliminated in this round 1 year ago. He only broke through because Bowman got disqualified post-race. And I know the tracks were a little different. Talladega was in this round last year. Now it's New Hampshire, which does play to Penske's strengths, short, flat oval and all that. I gotta eliminate 4. Okay, let's do it. Austin Cindric, sorry, you're out of here. Bubba Wallace, this one pains me because I think Charles Denike has been exactly what that team needs this year. This has in many ways been the most impressive Bubba Wallace Cup Series season to date, but I just don't see this run he's been on lasting for another 4, 5, 6 weeks. I just don't think that's realistic. Joey Logano. I'm doing it. I don't think Logano makes it out of the round of 12. When he does, you guys can look back at this video and laugh, but I do believe in one Team Penske player, and that is Ryan Blaney. I don't buy Cindric. I don't buy Joey Logano. Remember, so many things had to fall into place last year. Joey Logano got through the first round because he won a super speedway race. He got eliminated in this round 1 year ago. A DQ gave him a second chance, and then remember round of 8, it was a fuel mileage race. He won. Like, a lot of things had to go right. They executed. Give them their credit, but circumstances played a role as well. I don't see everything falling perfectly into line 2 years in a row. I don't buy the speed. Round of 12, that's as far as Joey Logano is going this year. And then Alex Bowman, man, I want to move him on, but he's going to enter this round likely at a steep deficit. And while this team has been consistent, solid, I don't think they have the raw speed to make up whatever deficit they face. So those are my 4 eliminations: Cindric, Wallace, Logano, and Bowman. I'm giving Tyler Reddick a shot here. He is my sleeper pick, let's say. I talked about this earlier in the week. I do think one of the 2311 Toyotas will make a pretty deep run, and I'm giving that to Tyler Reddick. The speed has been there. I like the way this round shapes up for him. Kansas, again, can 2311 find some of that old magic? We'll see, but New Hampshire has been good for Toyota, and he's a great road course racer, probably the best road course racing team of these 4 drivers I'm eliminating, so I'll give him the edge at the Roval. Gosh, that's a difficult round to predict, but we're moving on to the round of 8. Our field of 16 has been cut in half. This round of 8 is spicy. Las Vegas to open things up, standard intermediate track. Talladega, a super speedway, 3 and 4 wide racing, smack dab in the middle of the eliminator round. And then Martinsville, which is always predictable, usually controversial. You do not want to be on the cut line at the paperclip. Let's see. We'll keep going in order of the current seeding. Now, these playoff points on the side at this point will have changed because, these drivers will win more races. They'll win stages as the playoffs go. So Larson may not be the top seed by the time they get to the round of 8. Maybe Byron is. Maybe a guy like Hamlin or Blaney have surpassed them both. These numbers will change, but for the sake of simplicity, this is how the seeding is right now. We'll start at the top with Kyle Larson. Talladega is daunting, no doubt. Larson has never won a super speedway race, but he's come close this year. He was second at Talladega in the spring, finished 6th the other night at Daytona, won a stage. He's been great at Las Vegas in the past, and he's been great at Martinsville in the past. But so is William Byron. In fact, the analytics suggest Byron should be the favorite at Las Vegas. He has 5 straight top 10s there, including a win back in 2022. He's also got 2 Martinsville wins in the next gen era. He won a super speedway. He won Daytona at the start of the year. Denny Hamlin won Martinsville in the spring. Remember that. Talladega could be trouble for Denny. He used to be the best super speedway racer in the Cup Series garage there at the end of the Gen 6, but in the next gen era, it's been tough sledding. At Daytona and Talladega the past 2 years, Denny Hamlin's best finish is 10th. He has an average finish of 25th in those races the past 2 years. So a lot of pressure on Vegas and Martinsville. For Denny, Ryan Blaney has literally won the fall Martinsville race 2 years in a row. He's also won fall Talladega twice in his career. Christopher Bell is a reminder that every point late in these playoffs matters. Every stage point as well. Remember, Las Vegas 1 year ago, Bell finished a close second to Joey Logano in that fuel mileage race. Still, you had to feel great, right? Second place to kick off the round of 8, good position. Bell finished 4th the very next week at Homestead, was feeling tremendous. But a rough night at Martinsville, that controversy at the end, and Christopher Bell was eliminated. Finished 2nd and 4th to open the round of 8 and still got bounced 1 year ago. Every point matters. Bell has a couple of short track wins this year if we include the All-Star race. He's won that fall Martinsville cutoff race before. Remember, last year Christopher Bell said he was cheated out of a championship 4 spot. Can he bounce back? These are going to be some tough decisions. Like Chase Elliott. I love Chase Elliott at Martinsville, for sure. He led a bunch of laps there in the spring. He won Bowman Gray at the start of the year. Those short tracks with high tire wear, that's when Chase Elliott shines. But I'm a little worried about Las Vegas. Elliott has one top 5 finish on traditional intermediate tracks this year. His super speedway finishes outside of Atlanta have not been amazing. I think he was 15th, 14th, and 10th. I guess not terrible. At least he's surviving. He's making it to the end. But that's the thing about this round. Chase Elliott this year has survived. A lot of top 10, top 15, top 20s, but only the one win. If you're going to make it to the championship 4, you've got to either win a race or be perfect. Turn those top 10, top 15s into top 3s and top 5s. I'm not sure I see Chase Elliott doing either of those things in the round of 8. And this is also where I start to worry more about Chase Briscoe. Again, the lack of stage points. Like Elliott, Briscoe only has 1 win this year. It was at kind of an unusual track, an unusual race at Pocono. Top 10s are great in the regular season and in the early rounds of the playoffs, but round of 8, you need top 5s, you need wins. Briscoe does have a lot of top 5s recently. Do I trust James Small? James Small has only made 1 championship 4. It was 4 years ago with Martin Truex Jr. pre-next gen. I don't know. First year Briscoe and Small have been together. Championship 4, that feels steep. And, this may be where the run ends for Tyler Reddick as well. Last year, Reddick made it out of this round because he won at Homestead. That incredible last lap pass on the outside. But obviously there is no Homestead in the playoffs this year. Martinsville has been his kryptonite in the past. So, okay, I have to make some eliminations. Again, some tough choices here. This is tricky. You know what? This is where I think the summer slide is going to come back to bite Kyle Larson. I have Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Chase Briscoe, and Tyler Reddick getting bounced in the round of 8. Here's my worry with Larson. He enters the playoffs with a decent cushion, a lot of playoff points. That's good, but not a ton of momentum. The last 11 races this summer, he has 4 finishes of 28th or worse, and he has no wins. If something bad happens, let's say at Las Vegas, a loose wheel or a crash or a mechanical issue, I'm not convinced Larson is fast enough to win at, Talladega's a total wild card. He's never done it before. Or even Martinsville. I'm not convinced right now that team is sharp enough to win when they have to. And go back to this round 1 year ago. Larson was the top seed last year. And in this round, he finished 11th, 13th, and 3rd in this round 1 year ago. Not great, not amazing, but those are decent finishes. And he got eliminated. And that's because guys like Joey Logano and Tyler Reddick and Ryan Blaney were able to win in the clutch. Right now, I don't see that kind of firepower out of the 5 group. That could change in 6-7 weeks once the round of 8 is here, but we look at the last 11 races. We've seen still some of those mistakes, those issues, mechanical, driver, team. We haven't seen the wins to make up for it. I worry that will bite this team in the round of 8. So I have Larson out. Again, I think Chase Elliott could do great at Martinsville, but there are a few other guys. I mentioned Blaney has owned that race in recent years. He'll have to go through some tough competition to get to victory lane. And what did I say at the beginning of this segment? You don't want to be on the cut line at Martinsville. That's a dangerous place to be. Again, Briscoe, 19 group, they've had a really good season, but they're still new, still fresh. I'm not convinced they're making that deep of a playoff run in their first year together. And Reddick, I think this is also where some of the off-track distractions could start to weigh on this team. They're not Hendrick. They're not even Joe Gibbs officially or Penske. They are kind of that wild card team trying to burst the big team's bubbles. Getting a 2311 car into the round of 8 this year, which would technically at this point still be an unchartered car, would be a huge accomplishment, I think. But I don't expect 2311 to get back to the championship 4 for the second year in a row. So my final 4 are William Byron, who would be this would be his 3rd straight if he were to make it. Denny Hamlin, it would be his first championship 4 appearance in the next gen era, which is crazy. Every year, something knocks him out. 2022, it was the Hail Melon at Martinsville that knocked him out. 2023, if I recall, he was in a good spot, but then the car snapped on him at Homestead and he crashed. And then last year, what happened to Denny last year? Last year, he ran well, but the wrong guys won. The Blaney's, Logano's, and Reddicks leapfrogged him. I've applauded Denny Hamlin's resiliency all year. His focus, so many things pulling at his attention. Lawsuit, podcast, new baby at home, new crew chief, new sponsors. At least he's got his contract status settled for next year. That's one box checked off his to-do list. But still, despite all of these distractions all year, Denny's tied for the most wins with 4. He stumbled the last few weeks in bad finishes, but most of the year he was in the regular season championship fight. That veteran experience matters. It's been a few years since he got to the championship 4. I think this is the year Denny Hamlin gets back to Phoenix. And then I've got Ryan Blaney, who's been there, done that. We know how good he is late in the season. And Christopher Bell. See, Bell's the guy who I think could as easily get eliminated in the round of 16 as he could make it all the way to the championship 4. I think that first round, I'm worried. I'm worried about Bell in the round of 16. If he gets through that, I love the tracks for him in the round of 12. And I think in the round of 8, he's come through in the clutch before. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder after how last year ended. I think Bell makes it. So there's my final 4 at Phoenix. We have a Hendrick car, a Penske car, and 2 from Joe Gibbs. Phoenix Raceway is going to look different than it did this past spring when Goodyear brought 2 different tire compounds, a lot of varied strategies. It sounds like the plan for the fall race is to bring just the softer tire, something softer than we've seen at Phoenix the past few championship weekends. So that is going to be an interesting wrinkle that could shake things up. Byron, Hamlin, Blaney, Bell. William Byron has been to the championship 4 a couple years in a row, but he's failed to chase down those Penske guys. Maybe this year will be different. Byron led 80 laps in that spring Phoenix race and actually won Iowa a few weeks ago, a race that Penske won last year. Let's go down to Christopher Bell real quick. Bell won the spring race at Phoenix. Remember, had to hold off Denny Hamlin on that final restart. He was also great in the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro, a similar short flat track. Bell has been in the championship 4 before as well. He understands the pressure. Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney also understand the pressure. Blaney, of course, has won the championship 2 years ago. He's the only champion in this Final 4 I have. Team Penske would be looking for their 4th championship in a row. Ryan Blaney had an engine issue in the spring Phoenix race, but before that, I believe he had 7 straight Phoenix Raceway top 5 finishes. That driver, that car, that team are so tough to beat at Phoenix. But Denny Hamlin, the veteran of the group. Phoenix is usually a fairly straightforward race, not a ton of chaos. I think that favors Denny Hamlin. It's not known for eating tires, but if that softer compound results in a high tire wear race, I think that plays to Hamlin's strengths. What a story that would be. Denny Hamlin publicly at odds with the sanctioning body, much of NASCAR leadership, battling them in court. Going into that court case with a championship trophy in his arms would be quite the visual. Man, this is a tough choice. My heart says Byron or Bell. They've been to the championship 4, been so close in recent years, but haven't gotten it done. It would be awesome to see one of those young drivers break through. My gut says Denny Hamlin, because that would be a punch in the gut to NASCAR in a lot of ways and would be a dramatic storyline. I root for stories on this show, so I have fun things to talk about. Denny Hamlin finally winning his first championship with everything going on would be an insane story. But my brain says Ryan Blaney and Team Penske are going to do it again. He comes into the playoffs with 6 consecutive top 10s, just one at Daytona. He's had a field day at Phoenix Raceway the past 4 years. My heart, my gut may go other directions, but ultimately I got to use the old noggin to make these predictions, and my brain chugging along here says Ryan Blaney is going to win his 2nd Cup Series championship. Penske gets their 4th in a row. Blaney seems to be peaking this summer, finally getting the good finishes. Can he carry that momentum for 10 more weeks? Ryan Blaney is my 2025 NASCAR Cup Series championship pick. Whew, that was fun. One of the most wide open playoff fields in years. The playoff format itself is wide open. Going to be a lot to talk about over the next 10 plus weeks. Thanks for following along, folks. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more NASCAR content, commentary, race reactions, and more every single day. And a huge thank you to my supporters for your generous support all year long. I will see you again soon. Have a great rest of your week, folks. Enjoy Labor Day weekend. Southern 500 Sunday night on USA Network should be a great time. Thanks for tuning in.